Today's topic is going to be subtracting decimals from Unit 10. By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to represent subtracting two decimals with an area model and solve a subtraction equation using the standard algorithm. When you can show the same answers in an area model and by algorithm, you'll know you have it. Vocabulary for this topic is decimal, a number that represents a whole and a fraction with a decimal point within the number, and place value, the value of a digit within a number. The anchor chart that we're going to be using for this topic is right here. It outlines the steps that you will take for subtracting decimals, and it shows a great example of how to line everything up and do that math. So first we'll start out, we'll line up our place values. I know my place values are lined up when my decimal points are on top of each other. And that's the easiest way to ensure that all my place values are exactly where they need to be. And my ones are lined up with my ones, my tens are lined up with my tens, my tenths and my hundredths, and so on. Once I have my place values lined up and stacked on top of each other, I'm going to add zeros as placeholders for any blank spots. That's just going to make doing my math a little bit easier. Once I have my zeros added and my numbers stacked, I'm going to do the math like I would subtracting any whole number. I will subtract it down and regroup if I need to according to the digits within that number. Once I am done with all my math, my final step is to bring my decimal straight down into my answer. Once I brought my decimal down, then I am done with that problem. And I've found my difference. So here's a great example. First, we're going to start off by showing what subtracting decimals looks like in an area model. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to color in my first factor. Whatever that is, I'm going to look at the tenths place. I'm going to color in that many columns. And then I'm going to look at my hundredths place, and I'm going to color in that many single squares. So I have 5 in my tenths place. That means that I want 5 columns. 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Then I'm going to color in my single squares, which is 3, my hundredths, 1, 2, 3. So now my area model represents 0.53. My next step is to subtract my second factor from what I have colored in. I'm going to subtract however many tenths and however many hundredths is in that second number. I know that 2 tenths is what I need to subtract, so I'm going to cross out 2 columns, 1 and 2. Then I'm going to cross out 5 hundredths. So I'm going to cross out 5 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My answer is whatever is left over that I haven't crossed out yet. So anything that's still left yellow on my screen is going to be the difference. I'll count up my columns first. I have 1, 2 columns left over. And then I'm going to count my singles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 hundredths left. So my area model shows me that the difference between 0.53 and 0.25 is 0.28. Now let's do the math. Let's stack them and see if we get the same answer. I'm going to start by placing my first number on top, 0.53. I'm going to line up my place value, put my decimal, that 2 and the 5 on this side, and the 0 on this side. I'm then going to subtract them like I would any number. So I'll start with my 5. 3 minus 5, well, I can't do that, so I know I need to regroup. I'm going to borrow 10 from that 5, turn that 3 into a 13. So 13 minus 5 is going to be 8. Then I move on and I subtract 4 minus 2 is 2. 0 minus 0 is 0. Now my final step is going to be bringing my decimal all the way down into my answer. So as you can see from my subtraction equation, I have 0.28. This number and this number are the same, therefore I know that my math is correct. So whether it's showing an area model or stacking our numbers, this is how we would subtract our decimals. We're going to be working on this in class this week, so I look forward to seeing you then.